Hey guys, today I'm bringing you a sort of different video. This is the first time I've ever done a video like this before, in more ways than one. For this video, I want to discuss why I think DHMIS 5 is the best one out of the classic episodes, 1 through 6. Although I did enjoy the TV series, I kind of wish they would have focused more on horror than comedy, but that's just me. So that's why I'll just be focusing on the main 6 episodes. Anyway, for this video, I'll be explaining why I believe the 5th one is the best over the course of various chapters, so skip around if you want, or just watch the whole thing, your choice. Before we begin though, I would just like to state that this is all my personal opinion, not fact, so feel free to agree or disagree with what I'm saying. Even leave a comment if you want, explaining which episode you think is the best. Or, if you agree with me, maybe even consider dropping a like on the video or hitting that white subscribe button down below. It is white, right? Ugh, they keep changing it. Anyway, let's begin this journey. DHMIS 5 embodies the classic formula in its finest form. I'd even go as far as saying it pulls off the formula even better than the other episodes. Now, what do I mean by classic formula?
Well, that's easy.
Well, I'm talking about the pattern that basically all the episodes follow. You know, the way they start with a cheery song, everything is going well, then out of nowhere, it takes a sharp turn and becomes a horror-induced nightmare. So now we will begin a quick retrospective, just in case, it's been a while since you last saw it. So this episode starts with Red missing due to the events of DHMIS 4. We'll soon find out that it's about health and being healthy. We begin to hear one of the cheery songs we've come to know this series for. But then, we get a bit of mystery and intrigue as the music subsides and the phone starts ringing.
Let's get healthy now.
We start to wonder who is calling, and then we catch a glimpse of something a bit more serious happening behind the scenes. What is this? We need answers, but the episode puts a pin in it and expands upon it later. Hold up, pause real quick. Doesn't this place look like one of those self-guided tours you'd find at a museum or amusement park? Come on, I can't be the only one who thought that when this came out. Anyway, this kind of setup is crucial to setting the stage for later. When all the dots connect, it's just incredible. It all adds that much more to the unsettling atmosphere and the feeling that something just isn't quite right. The teachers start telling them things that aren't even true. Pizza is healthy for you, but carrots aren't? Yeah, that doesn't seem quite right. Almost as if the characters are lying to them to steer them into the wrong directions. The song continues on like normal, but the phone rings again. And this time, after Duck tries to answer, they turn the phone into a sandwich. I interpreted this as them trying to prevent Duck from seeing who was on the other line. Not to mention how the characters are constantly interrupting him.
That doesn't make sense. But something's wrong. Exactly. I need to go. Oh, wait.
It's clear that Duck knows something that's going on behind the scenes. He knows, and he's trying to escape, but these characters are clearly preventing him from doing so. I mean, he literally breaks the set trying to get out. We see a strange POV where Duck is no longer present with the yellow guy. I've always interpreted this as Duck being taken away for trying to change his fate. The characters continue singing their song, but it gets much more chaotic. It's at this point it's revealed whose POV we were seeing. It was Duck's. We hear the faint buzz of the hospital lights, and Duck is now being, we'll just say he's being turned into canned Duck. It's at this point that the characters start talking so much nonsense that not even Yellow Guy can understand what they're saying. Another really cool detail I noticed that no one talks about is how as the characters are tormenting Yellow Guy, their voices become distorted and echoey, truly showing off how unhinged they've become.
you're better off with plain white sauce.
What's that? Plain white sauce? Plain white sauce makes your teeth go grey.
Oh, what's that?
A lovely pie, but you're gonna end up sad inside.
But everyone has the teeth go grey. Just eat yeast and it'll go away.
But how much have you had today? Too much yeast makes your teeth go grey. That wasn't onion paste. You shouldn't eat food from a stranger's plate.
Well, we finally find out what happened to Duck. I always interpreted this scene as the evil characters had manipulated Yellow Guy into eating his friend just to further traumatize him, to know that he'll forever have to live with the fact that he was forced to eat his own friend. And all that's left is Yellow Guy by himself in the kitchen with the lights turned off. And then we get one last telephone ring, and that's it. That's the end. It's insane how they fit all of that within 6.5 minutes. Well, throughout that little retrospective, I hope you were able to find a new angle to look at this episode from. Because with that being said, we're going to move on to the next chapter.
Want to listen to some tunes?
Everything tastes great. But maybe we should wait before we put it on the plate. Or it could be too late.
You hear that?
So, as you just heard, it's pretty catchy. At least until, it gets chaotic. No, seriously though, it's not supposed to sound catchy here. It's supposed to be unnerving, which in this case, it gets the job done perfectly. Let's take a deep dive into the music. As a musician myself, these are the kinds of details that I pay very close attention to, and DHMIS 5 is no exception. Not even a full second into the video, let's examine the opening jingle. It's very cheery and lighthearted, until the final note, which bends downward and goes out of tune. Perfect for a series like this. Take a listen. That little audio symbolism right there is just the icing on the cake. Just like the classic formula, it follows that pattern of seeming nice and innocent at first, and then it takes a turn and sounds weird, which is very in line with the whole pattern the series has been following thus far. Now, it's time for us to examine the song itself. For this section, we're going to examine different parts of the instrumental. Joseph Pelling knocked it out of the park with this one. At the very beginning, if you listen closely, you can hear an old, out-of-tune piano accompanying the song. Take a listen and see if you can spot it for yourself. This little detail really adds to the feeling that these characters are trying to hide their true nefarious personalities, or trying to find some way, any way, to seem friendly, albeit a futile attempt. Because, pianos are a pretty common instrument to use in music, but not out-of-tune pianos. For this next example, we're going to jump to the part where the fridge gets introduced. Upon his introduction, the music even reflects on this, with a new, never-before-heard part. This unique part just adds so much depth. And hey, there's that out-of-tune piano again. The lyrics are so well written, and the running joke of teeth or gums going gray is just so bizarre and just works so well. Overall, the music plays a phenomenal role in conveying the feeling of both catchiness and a hint of underlying fear. 10 out of 10 Joseph Pelling. So we know by now that this is the episode in particular that left Yellow Guy all by himself. You know, with Red Guy's head having been exploded and Duck being tonight's dinner. Once this episode released, the world went crazy. What'll happen next? What's gonna happen to Yellow Guy's friends? How will Becky and Joe make another episode with only one of the three characters still alive? These were some of many of the questions needed to be answered. Well, there are many things to be taken into account from this episode that might answer some questions. Like, for instance, Red Guy can be seen as a cameo Easter egg in the microwave, as well as very briefly as the camera hits the floor. Also in the house scene in the credits, of course. These are probably just Easter eggs they put in for fun, but I wanted to mention them regardless, because it's interesting looking back to DHMIS 6, considering he plays arguably his biggest role in that one. You know, what with him pulling the plug and resetting the entire universe. Could all of these Red Guy Easter eggs in DHMIS 5 be linked to his importance in the next one? Well, I don't know. Don't ask me. For this chapter, we're going to go over some of the teasers that were shown off. Now, I find these to be really interesting. There was even one specific teaser I remember seeing that I almost couldn't find. It was a teaser of the steak guy dancing, but all you could see was his shoes. I had to do some digging, and thankfully, I found it again. Fun fact, did you know that Steak Guy's mouth was added in post-production? This is why his mouth is missing in the behind-the-scenes photos. I mean, looking back at these teasers isn't necessarily a reason why I believe it's the best episode, but I mean, come on. I built the kitchen in Minecraft for crying out loud. That's worth something, right? Well, hopefully you enjoyed this deep dive into DHMIS 5. It's a shame it had the least amount of views out of all of them. But by this point, I hope you were able to get a greater look at the episode and have a better understanding of it. I also wanted to mention that even though the fifth one is my favorite, I appreciate all the episodes in their own ways. Joseph Pelling did an amazing job on every track in this series. With that being said, if you're new to the channel, then welcome aboard. New videos will definitely be coming out, so be on the lookout for those. I highly encourage you to do all the things, you know the deal, and have a fantastic day and or night. This is EpicAntos signing off. Peace out.